In a pivotal moment highlighting the evolving dynamics of U.S. Foreign Policy Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently held a significant meeting with Philippine Foreign Secretary Enrique Manalo. This dialogue, which took place on June 9, 2025, marks a critical juncture in U.S. Philippine relations, particularly as both nations navigate the complexities of regional security and economic partnerships in an increasingly multipolar world. The meeting underscores the Biden administration's commitment to strengthening alliances in Southeast Asia, especially in light of China's growing influence in the region. Secretary Rubio emphasized the importance of collaboration, stating, "Our partnership with the Philippines is not just strategic but also deeply rooted in shared values and mutual respect. We aim to enhance our cooperation in various sectors, including defense, trade, and environmental initiatives." This engagement comes at a time when the Philippines is grappling with heightened tensions in the South China Sea, where territorial disputes with China continue to escalate. The U.S. has consistently backed the Philippines in these disputes, a stance that was reaffirmed during Rubio's talks with Manalo. The Philippine Secretary expressed gratitude for U.S. support, highlighting, "We appreciate the unwavering commitment of the United States to our sovereignty and territorial integrity." The dialogue also addressed pressing issues such as climate change and disaster response, with both officials recognizing the Philippines' vulnerability to natural disasters. Rubio stated, "We need to work together to build resilience against climate-related challenges." The U.S. is committed to supporting the Philippines in its efforts to combat the impacts of climate change. While the meeting was largely constructive, it reflects the broader geopolitical shifts affecting U.S. interests. Analysts have noted the importance of such diplomatic engagements, particularly as the Biden administration seeks to recalibrate its foreign policy focus after years of perceived neglect in Southeast Asia. Experts suggest that enhancing partnerships with ASEAN countries is vital for countering China's assertive posture in the region. In the aftermath of the meeting, observers are keenly watching how these discussions will translate into actionable policies. Rubio's performance as Secretary of State has been under scrutiny, especially in the context of his relationship with President Trump, who recently praised him during a joint session of Congress. However, reports have indicated that Rubio may feel sidelined in certain foreign policy decisions, raising questions about the internal dynamics of the administration as the U.S. navigates its strategic interests in Asia. The outcome of this latest meeting could have far-reaching implications. The commitment to reinforce ties with the Philippines not only enhances bilateral relations but also serves as a counterbalance to the shifting power dynamics in the region. Looking ahead, the international community will be watching closely to see how these diplomatic efforts unfold and whether they can lead to a more stable and cooperative environment in Southeast Asia. In a turbulent period for the Pentagon, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is facing significant challenges as he prepares to testify before Congress following a series of controversial decisions and ongoing staffing issues. The former Fox News host, who was confirmed with a razor-thin margin, is now grappling with a chaotic leadership environment that has raised eyebrows among both political allies and adversaries. Hegseth's upcoming appearances on Capitol Hill mark a critical juncture for the Defense Secretary, as he is expected to address not only the Pentagon's budget but also recent allegations of mismanagement and impropriety. His leadership has been under intense scrutiny since he suspended 2 senior aides in April, accusing them of leaking sensitive information. This incident, coupled with revelations that Hegseth himself shared classified military plans in a private group chat, has led to a troubling perception of instability within his office. According to reports from multiple news sources, including NBC News and Vanity Fair, the White House is struggling to fill key positions under Hegseth. At least 3 prospective candidates have declined offers to work in senior advisory roles, citing the chaotic environment surrounding the defense secretary. The White House's involvement in staffing decisions has further complicated matters, as they have reportedly rejected some of Hegseth's preferred candidates while he has dismissed others suggested by the administration. This has left Hegseth largely isolated, relying on a small circle of aides which some insiders describe as politically inexperienced. The situation has drawn the attention of Vice President J.D. Vance and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who have been charged with finding suitable candidates to support Hegseth's agenda. However, the ongoing tumult has made this task increasingly challenging. A Pentagon spokesman dismissed the negative narratives as fabricated reports of Beltway drama, asserting that Hegseth's leadership is driving record-high military recruitment and improving readiness within the armed forces. While Hegseth's supporters commend his efforts to roll back diversity and inclusion initiatives within the military and highlight the uptick in recruitment numbers, his critics are quick to point out the setbacks his leadership has faced. Republican figures, including some who initially supported his confirmation, are expressing concerns regarding his management style and the direction of the Pentagon's budget. With the administration seeking a base defense budget of $892.6 billion, which is viewed by some as a reduction when adjusted for inflation, Hegseth may face pointed questions from members of both parties about the adequacy of military funding. As if the staffing issues weren't enough, the upcoming hearings could also see Hegseth confronted with sharp inquiries regarding the use of military personnel in domestic operations, particularly in light of recent deployments to assist with immigration enforcement at the southern border. Such actions have sparked controversy and may lead to heightened scrutiny from both lawmakers and the public. The stakes are high for Hegseth as he approaches these crucial hearings. His ability to navigate the complexities of both internal administration dynamics and external political pressures will be pivotal in shaping his future at the Pentagon. As Hegseth prepares to testify, the outcomes of these hearings could either bolster his position or deepen the challenges he faces in leading the Department of Defense. The unfolding situation underscores the intricate balance of power politics and public perception in contemporary governance, particularly in an administration marked by fierce loyalty and contentious debate. As developments continue to emerge, the implications for Hegseth and the direction of U.S. defense policy remain to be seen. In a sweeping shakeup of the U.S. vaccination landscape, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has dismissed all 17 members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices (ACIP), a body long seen as pivotal in shaping the nation's vaccination policies. This controversial decision, announced in an editorial for the Wall Street Journal, comes amid rising concerns about public trust in vaccines and reflects Kennedy's commitment to addressing perceived conflicts of interest within the committee. Kennedy, a well-known vaccine skeptic, articulated in his piece that the existing ACIP structure has been compromised by its ties to pharmaceutical companies, asserting that it has morphed into a mere rubber stamp for vaccine approvals. He highlighted that many committee members had received substantial funding from drug manufacturers, raising questions about their impartiality. The committee has been plagued with persistent conflicts of interest, Kennedy wrote, suggesting that these ties contribute to a broader crisis of public trust in health authorities and vaccines. This move, however, has drawn sharp criticism from various health experts and lawmakers. Dr. Bruce Scott, president of the American Medical Association, expressed deep concerns, stating that the mass dismissal upends a transparent process that has saved countless lives. He noted that with the current measles outbreak and declining vaccination rates among children, this action could exacerbate the spread of vaccine-preventable diseases. Kennedy's actions stand in stark contrast to assurances given during his Senate confirmation hearings, where he committed to maintaining the ACIP without changes. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who had received these assurances, tweeted his apprehensions about Kennedy's intentions, fearing that the committee may be filled with individuals lacking expertise in vaccine science. "I've just spoken with Secretary Kennedy and I'll continue to talk with him to ensure this is not the case," Cassidy remarked, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a knowledgeable advisory body. As this controversy unfolds, it remains unclear who Kennedy will appoint to replace the ousted members. The ACIP is scheduled to meet later this month, where recommendations for vaccines targeting COVID-19, flu, and other diseases will be on the agenda. This critical juncture raises questions not only about the future composition of the ACIP but also about the broader implications for public health policy during an era when vaccine hesitancy poses significant challenges. Kennedy's editorial suggested that the problem with the ACIP extends beyond mere corruption. He implied that the committee's immersion in an industry-aligned system has led to a narrow pro-industry orthodoxy. As the landscape of vaccine policy shifts in the wake of his actions, experts are left to ponder the potential outcomes of a reconstituted committee and the ongoing struggle to rebuild trust in vaccinations among the American public. As the situation develops, the implications of Kennedy's decisions will likely resonate far beyond the immediate policy framework, potentially reshaping public perception of vaccines in a critical time for public health. The appointment of new ACIP members and their ability to navigate the complex relationship between industry influence and public trust will be crucial in determining the future efficacy of vaccination programs in the United States. In a remarkable turn of events within the legal community, Diane Seltzer has emerged victorious in the race to lead the D.C. Bar Association, decisively defeating Brad Bondi, the brother of Attorney General Pam Bondi. Seltzer, an employment attorney, garnered an overwhelming 90% of the electronic vote, with 34,982 ballots cast in her favor compared to Bondi's 3,490. This election not only reflects the candidates' contrasting visions for the bar but also serves as a microcosm of the broader tensions facing the American legal system amid ongoing political turmoil. The election attracted unprecedented engagement, with over 38,000 members participating, more than 5 times the turnout of a typical election, according to DC Bar CEO Bob Spagnoletti. Member engagement in this election was, to say the least, extraordinary, he remarked during a press call on Monday. Seltzer's campaign resonated with voters as she emphasized the vital need to uphold the rule of law in an era marked by governmental chaos. "We've got to make sure that we hang on to the rule of law and that we can practice law safely," she stated. Reflecting the concerns of many attorneys who feel increasingly vulnerable in the current political climate. Seltzer's victory is particularly poignant against the backdrop of the Trump administration's contentious relationship with the legal profession. The administration has faced criticism for its aggressive stance on judges who have ruled against its policies and for targeting law firms that represent clients or causes disfavored by the White House. The ramifications of these actions have prompted many legal professionals to advocate for a return to nonpartisan principles within the D.C. Bar. In contrast, Bondi's campaign sought to maintain the bar's neutrality and focus on practical support for its members, such as free training programs and pro bono work. He expressed disillusionment with the election's descent into partisan attacks, lamenting, "Never before has a D.C. bar election been leveraged along partisan lines in this way." Bondi's experience as a prominent lawyer representing high-profile clients including Elon Musk highlights the stakes involved in this leadership role and the potential influence of political affiliations on legal practice in Washington. Seltzer's win signals a shift in priorities for the D.C. bar, which plays an essential role in shaping the legal landscape, especially given its proximity to federal law and policy. She plans to address not only the pressing issues facing the legal community but also to foster a sense of belonging and community among its members. "We have a bright, vibrant, engaged, energetic group of members," she noted, hinting at her vision to revitalize the association. As Seltzer prepares to take office on July 1, the implications of her leadership will likely extend beyond the D.C. bar. The election's outcome reflects a yearning for stability and respect for the rule of law at a time when many in the legal profession feel under siege. With the D.C. bar positioned at the crossroads of law and politics, Seltzer's presidency will be closely watched as a potential harbinger of future developments within the legal community and the broader American judicial system. As new challenges arise, her ability to unite and advocate for attorneys' rights will be critical in preserving the integrity of the legal profession amidst a tumultuous political landscape. In a striking incident that has captured public attention, Elon Musk reportedly engaged in a physical altercation with Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, outside the Oval Office. The confrontation, which was reportedly sparked by Bessent calling Musk a fraud, raises questions about the high-profile dynamics within the Trump administration and Musk's personal struggles. Steve Bannon, a prominent figure in Trump's camp, has suggested that the altercation may have been influenced by Musk's alleged microdosing on that particular day. Bannon, who served as a chief strategist to Trump and remains a vocal commentator, detailed the events surrounding the scuffle, claiming that Musk's actions resembled those of a rugby player charging at his opponent. According to Bannon, Besant retaliated, leading to a situation that required intervention from onlookers to separate the two. Bannon did not shy away from asserting that Musk's alleged use of microdosing, a practice involving the consumption of subtherapeutic doses of psychedelic substances, could have played a role in his behavior during the confrontation. While the White House has downplayed the incident, spokesperson Caroline Leavitt acknowledged the tension between Musk and cabinet members, emphasizing that such disagreements are not uncommon in high-stakes political environments. "It was definitely a disagreement. But again, we've moved on from that," she stated, suggesting that it was not a significant altercation despite reports indicating otherwise. However, the scuffle has broader implications, especially in the context of Musk's reported struggles with substance use as he navigates personal and professional turmoil. A New York Times investigation has indicated that Musk has been increasingly reliant on various substances, with the pressure of his ambitious ventures contributing to his challenges. The incident has also drawn responses from other prominent figures. Leavitt underscored the seriousness of laying hands on a cabinet member, pointing out that Besant, being in the line of succession, is afforded protections under Secret Service protocols. The altercation therefore could entail an immediate investigation. Reflecting the gravity of physical confrontations at such high levels of government. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the ramifications of this incident may extend beyond mere headlines. It underscores the intense pressures faced by influential figures like Musk and the delicate balance of relationships within the current administration. As the world watches, the incident serves as a reminder of the human elements behind the powerful personas often featured in the media. Looking ahead, it remains to be seen how this scuffle will shape public perception of Musk, especially as he continues to push the boundaries of technology and innovation. With ongoing scrutiny of both his business practices and personal life, future developments in this narrative are likely to unfold as the administration continues to navigate its tumultuous environment. In a critical moment for the National Weather Service (NWS). U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick faced intense scrutiny during recent congressional hearings regarding staffing shortages at the agency. As lawmakers expressed bipartisan concern over the NWS's ability to deliver essential weather forecasts crucial for public safety, Lutnick offered a glimpse into the agency's plans for modernization and technological enhancement. During a House Appropriations Subcommittee hearing on June 5, 2025, Lutnick responded to inquiries about the implications of current staffing levels, which have been a long-standing issue exacerbated by previous federal hiring freezes and workforce reductions under the Trump administration. According to reports, the NWS has struggled to maintain adequate staffing, particularly at regional centers, raising alarms about its capacity to provide timely and accurate weather warnings. Despite these concerns, Lutnick insisted that the NWS is not understaffed, asserting all-weather collection technology is in full force and effect. He emphasized the agency employs approximately 2,100 meteorologists, with only a small fraction having taken early retirement. It is fake news and inappropriate to suggest a single meteorologist or hydrologist was fired, he claimed, countering reports from various outlets that indicated significant personnel losses due to layoffs and early retirements. As lawmakers, including Representative Mark Alford, Republican Missouri, probed Lutnick about the potential closure of regional offices in favor of centralized operations, he maintained a vision of a strengthened NWS. "I think there'll be many centers that will stay augment and be bigger and stronger and more powerful," he stated. Lutnick's remarks underscored the need for automation and centralized data management, suggesting that the agency could enhance its forecasting capabilities by utilizing cloud technology to share information across state lines. Critics, however, remain skeptical. Representative Grace Meng, Democrat, New York, highlighted discrepancies between Lutnick's staffing figures and those reported by the media, prompting calls for more transparency regarding the agency's personnel situation. This skepticism extends to former NWS officials such as John Sakich, who emphasized the necessity of local expertise in extreme weather scenarios. The human is absolutely needed in the process, he argued, noting that while AI advancements are beneficial, they cannot wholly replace the insights of meteorologists familiar with regional conditions. The conversation around NWS staffing coincides with broader discussions about the agency's operational funding and capabilities. Notably, a bipartisan coalition of lawmakers led by Representative Mike Flood Arnab has introduced legislation aimed at expediting NWS hiring processes by granting direct hire authority for critical public safety roles. This initiative, the Weather Workforce Improvement Act, seeks to bolster the agency's workforce amid ongoing technological upgrades. Outside of Congress, the cuts at the NWS have sparked public demonstrations, reflecting the growing frustration among former employees and advocates who argue that staffing reductions compromise public safety. Activists and lawmakers have voiced concerns that any further cuts could severely impact the agency's operational effectiveness, especially given the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. As Lutnick's vision for a modernized NWS unfolds, the agency appears at a crossroads. While technological advancements promise to enhance forecasting accuracy and responsiveness, the importance of maintaining sufficient human resources cannot be overstated. The coming years will likely reveal whether the NWS can successfully balance modernization efforts with the need for experienced personnel, ensuring it remains a reliable source of critical information in times of crisis.